Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going on the Hidden London Underground tour for Euston Station, and we're also going to take a visit to the London Transport Museum in Covent Garden. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so we started off with our tour, jumping on the tube at Edgware Road Station, right next to the Green Man pub. A nice old Leslie Green designed station there. And we had a little bit of an issue finding the correct pickup point for our tour. But just as we were about to go back to the station to find out where they were, we bumped into them. So here we see the original Euston station, which is about to be demolished. And we had 3 guides on our tour helping us through, and there was about, 15 to 20 people on the tour. This is it, so we're actually on the platform here, and we go through one of the private doors here to see a very dark, windy station from sealed off in about 1960. And one of the big attractions of this, of course, was that we'd like to that you get to see a lot of the original advertising posters for movies and books and things like that were on sale at that time the station was closed down. And it is also being used for storage. But here's the first one I spotted, which was Hell is a City, great Stanley Baker movie there, and you just see that the remnants of these posters in situ as they would have been literally back in the day. And I was spotting, being a movie fan, I was spotting loads of these. There's a very old ticket office, which we'll take a look at in a minute. There was the poster for West Side Story. And I've tried to pull the posters online just so you get an idea of what they would have looked like. In a lot of cases, they weren't the most obvious posters either. Sometimes they were advanced ones, or in that case, the American one. There's a little French one there for Les Agents d'Agence, and the original Spartacus poster. That one there, sold recently at an auction in the States for $2,000. To give you an idea there. But obviously, these are in a hell of a state. They've been, they're not protected or anything. They've just fallen off the walls there. But it gives you an idea of what it's like, and you literally are in a private place, a place where the general public obviously cannot go. It's quite dangerous, it's being worked at, it's dusty, it's windy, but it's a part of London Underground history, and it's fantastic to see. I was particularly delighted to see the Psycho poster, or what remained of it. I do like Alfred Hitchcock movies. And there's the 100-year-old ticket office, the only one in existence. And I was the only one to spot Terror of the Tongs, the old Hammer movie. But lots of GWR and old railway posters from the different railway lines over the years. But it's very, very difficult to film, so I haven't, I'm only going to spend a few minutes there. It was very, very dark and tough to see. But then we headed off in the afternoon to the London Transport Museum at Covent Garden. So if you've been on one of the Hidden London tours during the day, you're able to get access to the Transport Museum for half price, which is pretty good. And as you see, it's an enormous place, a huge area to explore. It's not the Acton Depot, which opens a few times a year, where the entire collection is stored. This is very much the museum. It's interactive, it's an exhibition, and it chronologically shows you the history of transport in London, right from these early horse-drawn carriages and omnibuses right through to the future. And it's a fascinating journey, and I've tried to show you as best I can what's on offer, and got the big actual examples. These are full-size examples of the actual vehicles that were in use. Absolutely fantastic. They've got like little dummies on there so you can see what they would have looked like. In most cases not very comfortable. These are some smaller models of the different designs. As you might expect, lots and lots of posters, maps, things like that. These were drawers full of them, which you could just pull open, and they were full of the old tube maps and stuff. I absolutely love this stuff. It is gorgeous. There's a very early tube map there, of course. Goes for a few pounds. Yeah, superb. And you get a real idea of just how long London Transport has been sort of operating, really. It's a long time. But as you can imagine, posters all over the place. The actual trains for you to go on as well. You can go on them, experience what it was like. When I was there, it was midweek, and we visited on a Wednesday. There was lots of school children around, so I've kept a little bit of background noise, but it was quite noisy in places. This is, I believe, like a late 60s, early 70s tube. Don't know exactly how it would have been back then with the original adverts when this one was taken out of service. You could actually sit on the seats and that, which was cool. And very nice to see the old trains, which have been fully restored. They just look fantastic. This is very nice. This is like a model, in effect, of the original tubes being built, the duck and cover method. Lots of huge engines on display, and they were run by steam, of course. Carriages, and there is so much to see in the museum. I mean, it really is. You want to put aside a half a day at least. I mean, my partner and I were there for about 3 hours, I think, maybe a bit longer. We had another appointment later in the day, so we were fitting a lot in. Particularly good section on the underground during the war, but a lot of it had the strobe lighting and stuff. It was very, very difficult to film, so I've given you a taste of it, but there's a lot more there to see. There's some of the earlier buses and trams now. But it really was a case that everywhere you looked there was ephemera and things that really required quite a bit of time to read, and that. So hopefully the video gives you a little taste of what it would be like if you're thinking of making a trip to the Transport Museum. Certainly the Hidden London. The tour was an hour and a quarter, and it wasn't cheap. It was £44 each, but to get access to that and to hear the history, if you're into it, it really is fantastic. So only you can decide if that was worth the money, but I'm glad I did it. And if you include a tenner to get into the London Transport Museum, then it makes it much more worthwhile for London prices, A couple of fantastic London buses there, 60s ones. Very, very nice, absolutely immaculate condition. A bit more of a familiar tube shape. But they were all there and they were gleaming, and I said in some cases you could actually jump on board as well, which was cool. And then this is looking ahead into technology. Oh, you spot me there. That was a little 1-man or 2-man air raid shelter. This is inside one of the 60s carriages with the great moquettes. They were super comfortable. I think they've been redone, so they were incredibly comfortable. The old maps and the old advertising. Looks early 70s to me, that one. Early to mid 70s. Maybe even a bit later. With the wooden floors and the different hold on tight. Don't really see those anymore. This is fantastic. This was a tube map made up of small tickets from each of the individual stations. Absolutely incredible. So each ticket is from a different station, and then they recreate where that station was on the tube map. Very, very clever. I said the place is full of cabinets like this, full of the memorabilia, original posters, bits and pieces, signage. It's just incredible. It's everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It's very well done. It's quite clever. Lots of the old signs scrolling on the floor. So some examples of the seat covers, the moquettes, and the original samples as well. See all the different styles there that they've used over the years, and they certainly make full use of that in the gift shop, as we'll see a bit later. Wowee! The section on the maps coming up. Once again, quite difficult to actually film in there. The lighting wasn't great unless you were stood in front of it, so tricky to actually film it. But suffice to say, it's a good little potted history of the tube map, from the very earliest ones through to Harry Beck's, right up to, as we'll see in a minute, the Art of the Underground ones. Certainly a subject I find fascinating is the old tube maps. I love them. But yeah, as I say, there was all sorts of lighting going on, so it was quite tricky to film in there. But it's good use of technology here as well, and nice and spacey. You could walk around without feeling too enclosed. Here is the little history of the Art of the Underground, some of the more modern tube maps of the last 20 years or so. Great series that. I was hoping to find the very latest one for 2023, but unfortunately the only one I could find was still for November 22, so I'm hoping they're going to do a new one. There was lots of signage pointing people to download the app, and I do hope that they do continue printing a traditional London tube map in paper form, because it would be very much missed if they stop producing those. It's some of the original artworks as well that the things were based on. This was very good. These were unreleased timetables and tube maps by Abram Games, quite a famous designer in the 1950s and early 1960s. He designed the Festival of Britain logo, in fact. So, but they were unused, those ones, for some reason. I guess it just didn't quite fit with the aesthetic they were looking for. And this is another little bit, some of the original artworks there that were then used in posters. Lovely to see. And these are all over the place. These posters are fantastic. And lots of reproductions. Virtually all the posters are available now in the gift shop, which is great if you fancy a particular one. And the museum flows really well. You sort of start at the top with the oldest vehicles and work your way right down to the bottom. So here we are at the end of the tour now. We're into the gift shop, and there was all manner of stuff with the moquette designs on. I wouldn't say it was particularly cheap, but I know online in their website they often have sales, so it's worth, if there's anything you fancy, you can get it all mail order. And they've got all the related books, which I thought was excellent. Lots and lots of books. The moquette stuff actually feels quite rough, the same as they do actually on the trains, so I don't think they'd be that comfortable. But every little nook and cranny, not just London Underground related, some of it was more general, like hidden London and sort of touristy London stuff, but you get the idea. And there was quite a bit to look at. In fact, the shop was on 2 floors. There was that much to show, and I think they had it nicely designed. £12 for a mug. That's not bad for a nice bone china mug. Similar one in Harrods is £25. We were there the day before, to give you an idea. So yeah, I mean, in summary, a great day out, and I would recommend Hidden London in the morning, and there's about 4 or 5 different tours that you can go on. Just go to the website to have a Hidden London Underground tour, and then get the tube up to Covent Garden. Have a bite to eat in fantastic surroundings. Covent Garden's a lovely little area, and after we'd finished the tour, we went out into Covent Garden itself, got ourselves a sandwich and watched some of the live string quartet in Covent Garden Market, the Apple Market. Really fantastic. So it's got some great shopping around there, and it's so central, lots of nice pubs and cafes and what have you to go and spend an afternoon. You could easily spend a day in Covent Garden. So yeah, a great day out, and I very much enjoyed it. Definitely a recommended trip. And as you can see, the gift shop's got so much in here, there's loads to look at. But I didn't want to be carrying around lots of heavy books, but I did note a few that I'm going to pick up on their website. And the website does often have sales on, even through mail order, like 20% off and things like that. So worth keeping a little eye out for. But yeah, if you're visiting the London Transport Museum, I would recommend probably to allow at least 3 to 3.5 hours to look at it properly. These were good. These were the full-size posters, reproduction ones as well. £15 each. It's not bad. They are gorgeous quality and quite big in size. So there you are. I hope you've enjoyed looking through my little whistle-stop tour of Hidden London and the London Transport Museum. Certainly a recommended place, and I'm glad I've finally got round to visiting as the string quartet plays us out. There we're going for it. In Covent Garden. Thank you very much for watching today. Do hit the subscribe button if you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.